Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. Now, this is a good example of how the internet, the false prophet, the beast system in of itself, how all of this prophecy is unfolding. Now, just to be clear, right? When I talk about the internet, the satanic media, the black mirror devices, electricity, the international communication systems of the world, when I talk about these things and how it is the false prophet of Revelation, you've got to look at the big picture. You need to zoom out and look at it all. It doesn't mean that everything you find online, every video, every movie, every song, it doesn't mean that all of it is evil, all right? It's just that, especially today, what you find that is popular, the primary driving force behind all of it is pushing the vast majority of its audience onto the wide road of destruction. Of course, there are many useful things to be found online. You can learn many things online, but the primary driving force is only going one way. So here we see this FIDIAS YouTube influencer who has won a seat at the European Parliament, a popular YouTuber from Cyprus, it says here, has been elected as an independent MEP to the European Parliament. Now, I think you're going to see a lot more of this as time goes by. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you know my opinions on elections. The reason that the masses are encouraged to vote is because it disassociates the individual from God. Scripture is very clear. It tells you God is in control of everything. God changes the time and seasons. He removes the kings and he appoints kings. It is he who gives wisdom to wise men and so forth. So when you vote, or should I say when you're encouraged or influenced to vote, when you do this, you are announcing to the world that you believe that you and your individual vote can collectively change the destiny of many, many people. Okay? You can change the final outcome of something very big, like an entire country of millions of people. And that you can do this collectively as opposed to putting just your faith and trust in God alone. I'm not saying, right, that you can't make individual choices about your own individual life and change your own individual destiny, but there is a big difference between that and changing the destiny of an entire country, say of millions of people. And I believe when you vote, people mostly, they are implying subconsciously that they don't believe God is in control of everything. Of course, you're told you need to vote for a party or someone who will change things for the better. But whatever way you look at it, put it this way, whatever faith and trust you put in God, if you have any at all, it is being diverted and placed into a voting system where various candidates present themselves to you as counterfeit saviors. So when you do vote, you're kind of thumbing your nose at God. Yeah, you're saying, I don't believe you're really in control of everything, so I'm going to have to step in and do something. And you're also at the same time, you're signing into the Luciferian concept that man is his own God and that collectively they are in charge of their own destiny. And that is why the system promotes the pantomime they call democracy so aggressively to the masses across the world. It's because they want to influence the masses to turn away from God, to not put their faith and trust in God, but instead to put it into their counterfeit system with counterfeit saviors, which is fueled by Satan. Hence why you have the satanic media, which is all about promoting this counterfeit world and its system to you 24/7, and why they have provided black mirror devices for people to carry with them everywhere at all times, in order so that the counterfeit system's spell over the people, or the power they have over the individual, becomes more predominant as time goes along. So here we see this FIDIAS character. FIDIAS is a YouTube influencer, a bit like that Mr. Beast, who is a massive YouTube channel, 260 million subscribers, which does all of these expensive pranks. And this FIDIAS character is like a European version of him. I mean, it's exactly the same kind of trashy thumbnails, the sort of stuff that the YouTube system aggressively promotes in order to keep the masses dumbed down. So here we see YouTube prankster voted in as Cyprus MEP, being elected as an independent MEP to the European Parliament. He has 2.6 million subscribers, and he's like all of these other big YouTubers. They are placed there and aggressively promoted to dumb down the masses. They create clickbait fodder, which is deliberately designed to instantly get attention, and all of the content is there to waste the masses' time. It is yet another version of the bread and circuses. And it's there to take up space as well, so the audience don't go looking for anything deeper. All the while, these channels focus and promote the concept of being obsessed and attached to the material world. It's why so much of the content is about money and food and fast cars and sweeties and so forth. And these channels are so huge primarily because they are aggressively promoted by the system itself. These are not channels that have accidentally got big. If they had, they would have been shadow banned way back. These are only where they are through the artificial promotion of the system. And sadly, whatever is fed to the masses, a certain amount of them will consume it. So it says that FIDIAS said after his win, "We are writing history, not just in Cyprus, but internationally." According to Politico, it says, FIDIAS declared in January he would run in the polls. Okay, so this is a guy who spends time with Mr. Beast in the US whilst trying to hug Elon Musk and go viral. None of this, of course, is by accident. This is paving the way, I believe, for more social media influencers becoming involved in getting their audience to vote, to give their consent, right? To give their consent for the forthcoming beast system. I believe you will see more and more influencers like this that are artificially placed and promoted, who create content that is usually entirely about being obsessed with the material world. You will see these people asking you to vote for them. And this is how the false prophet, the second beast, works, and how the mass communication system of the world works. The false prophet, of course, causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, right? It gets you to give them the consent to be your representative. That's what you're doing when you vote, right? You're saying, I elect you to be my representative. And these representatives are false counterfeit saviors. That is why the elections and voting is so promoted by the system, and why I think you will start to see more of this type of thing, especially from popular artificial influencers, especially from influencers with massive subscribers, and more importantly, influencers whose content and what they are known for or what they stand for is incredibly shallow, incredibly focused on greed and on consuming, that focus on an obsession with money and the material world. These people will start to offer themselves up to be representatives for the masses to give their consent to, because the more obvious it is, the less excuses that individual will have. You know, if what this person stands for is so shallow and so openly shown on these channels, and it's right there in your face, you can't say, if you vote for them, you can't say you were tricked into it. Like in this case with this FIDIAS character. Look, Satan the devil, he controls mankind through collective consciousness, you could say, and crowd manipulation. And this is done now mostly online. The false prophet causes the earth to follow the beast. And like as in this case, it goes one step further. You've got the influencer and the system promoting him. You get the masses watching his output of focusing on material obsession. And then they also now get the masses to give their consent away to that person so that they represent them. That's the next step. Satan, the devil, controls mankind through collective consciousness and crowd manipulation, right? So you've got collective consciousness is the set of shared beliefs, ideas, and moral attitudes which operate as a unifying force, right, within society. And then you've got crowd manipulation, which is the intentional use of techniques based on the principles of crowd psychology to engage, right? That's what you're getting with your Black Mirror devices. Control and influence the desires of a crowd in order to direct its behavior towards a specific action. This is happening continuously. And this is how, over time, Satan has blinded the minds of the unbelievers, right? Voting and elections play a big part in this. And these big influencers, they're all interconnected, and it's all about leading the masses into worshipping the beast. Whether or not they are aware of this, I don't know. And this is a good example of how this will evolve over time. I believe this is just the start of many more to come, like this particular YouTube influencer. And this is why you're told not to follow the world, to not follow the crowd. That the path to the truth is narrow, and that wide is the path to destruction, and that many will be on that path. Why it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. That is why all these influencers focus on money, cars, food, excess of all these things, the material world, because that's exactly what you shouldn't be focusing on. And of course, this is the direct opposite of what Jesus teaches, which is, I mean, it's obvious in a way, but this tie-in now with elections and voting, it's the next step. Yeah, elections, popularity, voting is the Babylon system, and is why you are told in scripture to come out of it. Come out of her, my people, Revelation 18:4. It's a warning to God's people to escape the judgment that is to come upon Babylon, the system that is in place at the end times. So when you vote, you're joining with it. You're consenting to it. That's my opinion anyway. Okay, as always, thanks for listening. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your support and your prayers. And I will see you in the next video. There was never nothing missing, or ever anything out of place. For all I ever really wanted was given in a moment's grace. It was always there in front of your eyes. In the darkness, a light He will provide. Beware, Babylon, she sings her song. Are you spellbound? Do you sing along? Oh no, 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 no. Beware, Babylon, but right now is wrong, dragging you down, down to the pits where you don't belong. There was never nothing missing, or ever anything out of place. For all I ever really wanted was given in a moment's grace. It was always there in front of your eyes. In the darkness, a light He will provide. Beware, Babylon, she sings her song. Are you spellbound? Do you sing along? Oh no, 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 no. Beware, Babylon. dragging you down.